Hey, what's up guys? I'm BTC, and I'm joined by Skill, who is a Grandmaster, top 500 player, one of the best in the world. We're going to be going through your gameplay in the Coach and Roast. We're going to try to give you some tips and advice on how you can improve and rank up, but we're also going to be making fun of all the stupid things that you do. Now, before you complain about this, everybody who submitted a video knows exactly what we're going to be doing, so don't whine, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Oh god, that's a bad start.
So already your main tank is up there protecting solo Bastion.
Oh, yeah, that's bad.
And you already lost a teammate. And your Roadhog is pushed up.
Okay. Alright, so this is going to be a rough start. I mean, the fact that you're playing Lucio, it might help a little bit. Well, actually, no, because the Bastion isn't going to actually take any damage because he's being protected by the Reinhardt there. I have a bad feeling about this. I think that if the enemy... Look at the hammer just coming through the wall. I have a feeling if they have a coordinated push that they're just going to absolutely annihilate your team.
Yeah, maybe next time if you think that there's going to be a play like this, a setup like this, maybe you should play Ana instead. It would have a little bit more impact than Lucio. Lucio is good when you know that everyone is going to take damage. But in this case, Ana would have been better.
I mean, like, for example, you have the speed boost, but two people are not going to take any advantage of it whatsoever. And they're probably not going to take any damage either. So, basically, you're going to be supporting, what, a Roadhog, a Junkrat, and, what, Pharah?
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Unfortunately, in this situation, Lucio doesn't have much impact, so... I see, there's Reinhardt up there, and you can't really heal him. It's an awkward spot for your aura to reach.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the ledge is blocking line of sight for most of the time. I mean, they're really damaged.
If you have team chat, perhaps you can, convince them to drop down from there. Well, let's see. Maybe you'll be able to hold it with your team.
Now, here's the thing, though. This sort of, I mean, this is okay. So he just died, and there's no reason for him to be up there anymore. Okay, good. He just fell down.
Ult. You should ult immediately here, just because everyone is so low.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ult would. Yeah. Ult could have saved those two there.
Was that only for you? I think that was only for you.
No,
yeah,
the Pharah got one more. Oh, your Pharah actually did some work, but I don't...
Oh, yeah, actually, Pharah did do some work.
You shouldn't rely on that, though.
Yeah, had you used it earlier, both of your tanks would have been alive, and there would have probably been a much better situation.
Yeah, maybe only one or two would have died instead of your entire team.
Now, here's the other thing. You got to keep this in mind. You're playing against Platinums, right? So... the amount of skill that they have is going to be, fairly limited. That sort of strategy that just went off, if you tried that in a higher bracket, you would have gotten absolutely annihilated. Like, they would have had the... Oh, God. They would have had the point in, like, the first 20 seconds. Like, it would have just been done.
Yeah, one thing I noticed is there is a delay between Lucio's shots. Like, he fires a barrage of 3, and in between that barrage, there's a delay where you can't do anything. So take that opportunity to look around and see if you can spot. Like, in that situation, there was a Reaper that dropped down. You could have booped him away before he ulted behind the Reinhardt shield. That way he didn't do any damage. Also, lead your target a little bit more when you fire. Don't aim directly at them because there is travel time. So try to aim where you think they'll be.
Alright, so we've got to be brutally honest here. The only reason why you didn't get absolutely stomped, and I'm not talking you, I'm talking about your team in general. The only reason why you didn't get completely stomped was because the other team basically didn't know what they were doing. right, so now we are on offense.
You still have the Bastion.
He's still got the Bastion. All right, let's see what we do. Style points going backwards.
So I think Bastion could possibly work in this rank. Now people would expect it. It's definitely a mix-up, but definitely a more meta pick would work better. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. See, the Bastion's kind of just having to inch his way in, but if it goes unpunished, then it looks like he just gets a free win. And they win.
Oh my God, they're doing the same thing.
A lot of players will mimic the strategy that the team they just lost to did. So they said, "Hey, this works, so we're gonna do it also." Now, theoretically, your team should be able to beat that no problem, especially since their Reinhardt is up there with him. So the rest of their team is completely open. They also do have a teleporter, so in this position, because you're going to die anyway, maybe you could have taken a right and looked for the teleporter with your speed boost. So at the very least, if you died, you might have killed the teleporter or have done significant damage to it.
You did manage to stay
alive. Yeah, you got out. Although it ends up being the same thing.
Yeah, I mean you'd be respawning right about now anyway, so it really didn't matter.
It's good waiting for your teammate. Make sure that
a lot of Lucios don't do that. So that was
in this particular situation, the best bet would be to go up the stairs onto the building and then set up with Bastion there with your ultimate. But it's kind of difficult to coordinate all that, especially in this rank.
Now you did have ult right there. Yeah.
A little iffy, and if you should have used it. It definitely, if your entire team was together, sure. But you got Pharah and Genji on the different part of the map there, so I could see why you didn't want to use it.
Unfortunately, the tanks went in kind of like. Oh, speaking of tanks, best tank.
Your Bastion actually is doing some decent work. You should ult here just to guarantee it, because you win the game anyway if you take the point.
Now, also keep in mind, Lucio's heal is line of sight, and you were not in line of sight for like most of your team. Right?
Yeah, see, ulting, you actually missed the ult on the Roadhog because he's behind the crates, so he didn't. The one who needed it the most didn't actually get it.
And looks like you guys got it.
Yeah, the soldier didn't actually step on the point.
All right, so what can we do to improve?
Well, first on that team comp thing, that was abysmal, but it worked for your side. The enemy team tried to do it, so that's something you see. It's pretty common. But for you specifically, you can ult whenever you feel like your team needs it. I can see one situation. There was one situation where I could see where it was pretty iffy, where I could see that maybe keeping it would be beneficial. But there was another situation where you could have won the game slightly faster. And again, like this, you held the point the first round, so you just automatically win if you cap this. So that first push, where I said earlier where you should have ulted, maybe you could have actually gotten it quicker, and it would have been guaranteed if you had ulted there. Also, you would switch between speed and health when it wasn't really necessary. Like, you should speed boost and health boost independently. You should see situations where you think you need one or the other, but sometimes you were switching and it didn't have any impact on anything, really. Also, remember that Lucio's ult is line of sight, so if someone's behind a crate or behind a building or something, they're not going to get it, so just keep that in mind. Try to position yourself on higher ground if you can, just so it hits everyone under you.
Now, I didn't hear any voice comms whatsoever during that match, so you might have just had it off. But if you do actually have it on, one of the things you can do as a Lucio, when you're on attack anyways, is you can kind of coordinate the push and let your team know when you're going to speed boost, so that way your team can kind of group up a bit. Reinhardt can get in front, you speed boost, and everybody can move in together. And since it didn't sound like you had any of the microphone communication on, then obviously you can't do that. But if you can tell your team, like, hey, we're ready to go now, because a lot of times your team will be kind of like indecisive. Like, they'll kind of push in a little bit, and then they take like 2 or 3 points of damage, and then they back out and stuff. And a lot of times, either the Lucio or the Reinhardt can do this. And basically, you have to kind of take charge and tell your team, now is when you need to go in. Everybody needs to push in right now. And as the Lucio, you can also do that with your speed boost. It just, hit that and everybody rushes in. And, maybe the attack succeeds or fails, but you'll be much better off if your whole group is working together and pushing at once, instead of like a couple people here, a couple people there.
Also, when you're aiming with Lucio, keep in mind that his projectiles are very slow, but they're huge. So what you can do is space out your projectiles more, or aim ahead of where you think they'll go. A good Lucio will maybe hit 1 in every 3 shots. So if you're going to hit 1 in every 3 shots, make sure that you're aiming towards the head. You should never move your crosshair up or down really on Lucio. It should always be across, just because everything has a pretty consistent head level, exceptions being Roadhog and Reinhardt and stuff like that. But if you're going to land a shot, make sure it's a headshot. So definitely aim for head level.
All right, so that should be about it. Thank you very much for submitting your video. Good luck in climbing the competitive ladder. If you'd like to have your gameplay coached and roasted, check out the description of this video for more details. But that's going to be it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe, because there's lots more Overwatch on the channel. Remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault.